UrAvgCoach podcast. I have a wonderful guest on today. This is Dr. James M. Harvey. Um, this is my cousin, really like my big brother. Um, I'll have him introduce himself, and then he'll tell me or tell us a little bit about himself, and then we'll just have some conversation. But I think this is super important. Um, he's a physical therapist, and I think a lot of people can gain from the knowledge that he has. So, introduce yourself, please.
Man, I'm grateful to do this thing with you, man. I am Dr. Harvey. I am a physical therapist and also a breathing instructor. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. A few hours away from my dear cousin slash brother in Chicago.
Yeah.
Um, I now reside in Texas, in Houston and Austin. I move around quite a bit. But literally, I love what I do for a living. I teach people how to use their breath and their body to heal themselves. Yeah, that's really it. Yeah,
You make it sound so simple, you know,
it
but it's
it really it really is. We make it complicated, but it really is that simple.
yeah. Well, I mean, we do it every day. We don't really think about it though. So, all right. So, I guess I'll just start from. I mean, I'll just give people a little bit of insight on like our relationship. So, um, yeah. Again, James is like my big brother. So we're 3 years apart. So every time I went to St. Louis, we stayed at his parents' house, and this is how much of like a big brother that he is to me. That probably up until I was like in my 20s, I slept on your floor in your room because I wanted to be by him.
I love you too, man. That's all it is. It's just love. That's all it is.
I wanted to be by you. I wanted to be like you. So I slept on your floor every time we came. It was hella beds or couches or something. And I was like, let me sleep on James's floor. Oh my God. So like I have a younger brother for you guys that don't know. He is 8 years younger than me. So like the age gap is kind of difficult because like I'm in high school, I'm figuring out who I am as an individual, and I'm going through different life changes and circumstances and stuff like that. And he's in elementary school, so the closest thing that I had that I could confide in was James and his older brother Brandon. So um, yeah, like I always wanted to be like them. I was going to they AAU basketball games for hours on end, staying in the gym, uh, going to the church with them, and having people think that James was my father. Uh, all kind of stuff. So yeah, like I was attached to James like at the hip since I was since I can remember, and then I remember you got to high school and you started doing really well in sports. And I mean, you'd always been good at sports and stuff like that. But then you get to high school, you go to 3 championships in a row, you win two,
Yup.
go to the third. And I remember like, damn, I want to be like James. Like, I gotta get big like James. I gotta start lifting. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? And like, uh, I remember like I didn't really have uh like a hero or somebody that like I idolized, like a famous person or something like that. But you were like my hero, so
Oh,
I want to
man.
give you your flowers right now while I'm in front of you. But yeah, I wanted to be like James. The only thing I didn't want to do like him was be a doctor because that takes way too damn long. Uh, so I kept that to him. But I played football. I wanted to be like him. I was watching his highlight tapes. I was I was tuned in. I went to his state game, the one that I could go to, um, and then I went to one of your college games. Um, yeah, so I've always been idolizing you.
I appreciate all the love. I just thought of something though. The only state game that you made it to was the one we lost. Correlation? I don't know. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
It might
well,
it might have been your fault.
now that you put it like that, yeah, probably was. So sorry about that, but uh, but did you get your first scholarship offer that weekend though too?
Probably. Yeah, so yeah, sure, sure, sure. I'll give you credit for that too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very
So
much.
I can't do everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, got to the scholarship, didn't get you to win, but it's
I
okay.
I appreciate you, and the love is mutual, cause like not not only cause you see yourself and me being your older brother figure, I see myself in you too, like still to this day. Um, in the best of ways and sometimes the worst of ways. It's just like, man, I've had this thought process before. I've slipped up in this way before. I've also knew better and didn't do better sometimes. So like I
Yeah,
get it. Like, yeah, I we we are one.
yeah,
So a
for
family's
sure.
for it, man.
Yeah, and I always reach out to Jay like or James when I get like when I get in a bind or something like that. Like I'll reach out to you, and so yeah, just to
I
tell them
know
how.
we I know we doing this like this formality thing. My family calls me Jay. You struggling right now to like not it's okay. It's okay. You can call me Jay because you
Okay,
can.
for sure.
You can.
Okay,
And
for sure.
yeah, you can. Specifically you. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Now that we got that out the way, this is my cousin Jay. Everybody
Exactly.
else, you guys call him Dr. James though. But yeah. So I want to fast forward. You go to college. You play football there. Did you only play 4 years
Yep.
and then you graduated?
Yep.
You went to William Jewell, right?
Yep.
That's the name of it. Yep,
Yep.
William Jewell. Um, which is in Missouri, right?
Yep. It's a small D2 right outside of Kansas City.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then what was your major in your undergrad?
My major was in psychology. So psychology and pre-physical therapy, which really just means all the classes that are necessary for you to get into a PT school, making
Okay.
sure you take all of those. So psychology is a good portion of it. So that major worked out. But in addition to that, physics and biology and statistics and a number of things that I rather not think about for real.
So you finish your undergrad. You was always good at school, so you killed that. And then you decide that you want to go and do what after? Like what was your thought process? Like, did you always know you wanted to be a PT, or did you kind of just like, let me just knock this out just in case, or like,
What I knew that I wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew that I wanted to help people. What avenue I went about doing it, I wasn't always so sure. Um, I remember being in high school, sitting at the kitchen table with my parents, and they asking me like, "Okay, what do you want to do when you older?" Honestly, I didn't know. That was like a stressful question because I didn't know, and I don't feel like I was exposed. I could have been exposed to more, put it that way, so that I knew like what is possible, right? What is it that I could be doing? The thing that did come to mind that was physical therapy, because as an injured athlete, if you play sports enough, you've been somewhat familiarized with physical therapy, or at least think you have some idea of it. So that was the thing that was in my head: physical therapy, physical therapy. Um, so yeah, that's what it was. I went from high school, I was saying I wanted to be a physical therapist. So from that point, I started to shadow physical therapists in a variety of settings. And I got more certainty on, okay, yeah, I would really enjoy doing this. And that was a huge thing for me. That is still a huge thing for me. I've seen what it looks like for somebody to go to work every day and they just are miserable. And a lot of times you bring that angst and that frustration home with you. Like, no, I wanted to be sure that whatever I did, that I absolutely loved it. So that's how we got to physical therapy.
and I remember like, I mean, it's a long time ago, but I remember at some point you wanted to. I guess we're going ahead of ourselves, but at some point you wanted to work with athletes.
Yeah.
You wanted to work with athletes. I remember that conversation maybe when you had just started college or around there. Um, But then okay, so let's go back now. You get done with your undergrad. What's the next steps now?
So you get done with undergrad, and then the next steps is getting into a PT program, which is usually a 3-year program. So it's a 3 years, it's a doctorate program. So 4 years of undergrad, then PT school. The majority of us don't make it into PT school immediately. It takes multiple attempts. So I'm definitely in that group of it took me multiple attempts. One of the most beautiful parts about that though was it gave me time to mature. It gave me more time to mature and really multiple opportunities of, hey, this didn't work out. You sure you still want to do this? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
still sure I want to do this. So I got I got the privilege of entering PT school with a really like being more sure of myself, being more aware of myself. So a lot of the conversations that were being had in school, I was able to absorb so much more than just what was in the textbooks, but to really see like the bigger life, like how do I apply this to something beyond just the physical body? How do I teach myself and other people how to really heal and what the difference is between healing and addressing symptoms, like doing things that can only provide you some type of short-term relief. So
yeah.
that time off, that time in between was real impactful.
And I feel like you've always been mature, but like what tell me like a little bit about that maturing process. Like what did you have to endure? Because maybe there's somebody out here that's watching this that maybe wants to become a PT like you. Like, what was some of those like trials and tribulations that you had to go through in that meanwhile between you finishing undergrad and then getting to a PT school?
Man, I love that question, cuz. So anybody that knows me personally, like clearly you know this, I've been mature my whole life relative to other people my age. Like, in the 6th grade, I had a mustache. In middle school, I had a big old goatee. In grad school, I already had some grays in the beard. And we still, I've always been more mature than a lot of people my age. The maturity, specifically in that time period, though, was me getting a lot of experiences that I didn't enjoy. So that time off in between getting into accepting into PT school, I worked a few different jobs. I worked I worked at Best Buy in the cell phone department. Now I'm working these jobs just to make some money, right? In addition to also working as a PT tech in a few hospitals, meaning that the PT, whatever the PT needs, I'm helping them do. So I'm getting experiences that'll improve my application to get into PT school, but I'm also having to do some other work so that I can
Live.
take care of myself, yeah, live and
Yeah.
save up some money for when I do get into school. So Best Buy in the cell phone department. Whew. I'm sure that I got more gray in my beard from that interaction alone. Um, I spent a lot of time working in restaurants.
Yeah, I
And
remember. Yeah.
yeah, so I was hustling. I was working 60 or so hours a week. It wasn't until hindsight that I realized, like, oh, that's not everybody wasn't doing that. Like, I was working every day because I felt like I had to. And honestly, when I look at it now, I was really living in survival mode. I was living in survival mode. It was like stress because I wasn't being really present and grateful for everything that was during those moments and all the beauty of it. Now I can reminisce on how important that time was to me. But it was stress, 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 stress. So the maturity process for me was, okay, now I'm in school, fast forward, now I'm in school and I'm learning about the effects of stress on the body.
Mhm.
And when I read this book, it's not just this like it's not just information that I'm browsing. These are life experiences inside of my body, inside of my mind that I'm connecting to like, oh wow. So me having this back pain, that's something else that happened during that time too. I experienced some severe back pain. Do you
I
remember
remember that.
this?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much. I hurt my back to the point that I needed your help to help me actually move into PT school, to actually get everything out the car into the
Yeah.
apartment. Thank you so much for that. My body wasn't really ready to do that in that moment, and it's because of that survival mode that I was in. I'm
Yeah.
working those 60 plus hours a week. I'm working in a hospital. It was a children's hospital, to be exact. I was the only man working in the PT department. Anytime it's a heavy child that needed to be, transferred from their wheelchair to the table, hey James, hey, it's always me. I'm doing all of that, right? I'm
Yeah.
working at the bar and I'm constantly on my feet, picking up all of these plates and changing kegs. And that's just the physical part of it. The other part I
Yeah.
already spoke to, that constant stress. It was a time where I wasn't able to bend forward and like even put my shoes on. So the maturation process for me was really going through a lot of the things that clients that I have now that they are going through right now.
Yeah.
So I have a better understanding of what that is like because I've experienced it for myself.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I remember your back was real messed up. I remember like going back to your mom's house and then like seeing you like rolling out or like doing stretches and I'm looking like, what the hell? Like, and it's crazy because like at this time I'm still like kind of like in my peak in my prime still, like even though I'm not playing no more, but like I'm like, you were just in that like not too long ago. So it was crazy. And then now like I'm at the point where it's like, oh, like my back is starting to hurt and stuff like that. Like I remember like I had a bursitis on my Achilles and I was asking like, bro, what do I do for this? Like so it's funny that you say like your life experiences like sometimes in hindsight, like for you can like see that um your patients or clients are going through this right now, but you've already experienced it. So like in a sense, you can provide more for them than somebody that just has seen the information on a book because you've actually experienced it yourself. Um, so we move into PT school, which is where so people know where you got your credentials and stuff from,
Missouri State, which is in Springfield, Missouri.
which I didn't even know was a thing until we moved you in there.
Yep.
Because the furthest I had gone in Missouri is St. Louis, which is like at the border.
Yep.
um, so you go to Missouri State. Um, you are there for 3 years, you said,
Yep.
and you finish. And what was the I don't want to say like the hardest because that's like cliche. Like what was the hardest thing you had to do? But like what was what was maybe like a pivotal moment like in that 3 year span where it was like this could go one way or the other.
It's so many to name. Uh, one of my favorite ones to look back on now is after we took our first anatomy test. So you mentioned earlier that you've always known me to be good at school, right?
Yeah,
So somebody like myself, school, I understand the game that this is. Y'all gonna tell us to really not learn but memorize all this stuff. We can
yeah.
have a test on this date. You're gonna tell me what date the test is. I'll memorize it a day or two before, take the test, pass the test, and we just repeat this cycle. Okay, cool. Well, now I'm in a situation of being in grad school where nah, we done memorizing. We gotta learn. We have to
Ingrain
understand.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to understand and really apply. So I was in a hot seat, cuz I was in the oh man, I was in a hot seat. One of the most pivotal moments was after we took that first anatomy test, which was only like a week into the program. I came back. I hadn't even seen my grade for the test yet, but I had never taken a test before to where, like, no lie, it might have been 100 questions on there. 98 of those questions, I gave it my best attempt. It wasn't even like, man, I feel good about, yeah, this could like no, oh, like I'm reading option A, B, C, D. I'm like, I may have done better on that test if I just put C on everything. I may have done better. But after taking that test, I went back home. I laid on the bed, looked directly at the ceiling, and just laid there for who knows how long, just like wondering, like, okay, what am I gonna do if this grad school, if this thing don't work out? Eventually, I called my brother. I called Bo, and I said, hey, if this doesn't work out, can I come stay with you? He in LA at the time. Like, can I come stay with you like for a little bit and figure things out? He like, hey, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna make it. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't know about none of that. And then I called my homie Devin that lived in Dallas at the time and said the same thing. So now I got two options. I got an option in LA and an option in Dallas. Those are my contingency plans in case this doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So one of the most pivotal things for me, like including in that moment, but like bigger scheme, bigger picture is understanding and believing, knowing that I belong here. Like I belong in this place. I'm here for a reason. I'm adding value to this program, like an immense amount of value to this program. And one of my favorite professors, Dr. Wallentine, I'm gonna say your name. This is somebody that the way that some people in my life like look up to me and think that I'm just like this superhero and you so smart. That's how I looked at him when I was in school. And I'm talking to him one day and I'm like, I'm so stressed. And I know that he has a wife and he's really nerdy in this anatomy and world, the stuff that I care about too. Like, how do you learn all this stuff and you still have a family that you're taking care of? And what he told me sticks with me forever. He was like, hey, the things that you know are only a part of this job. The way that you treat people, the way that you make people feel is equally, if not sometimes more important. So that really helped me really help calm my nerves and like, okay, yes, I'm going to continue to apply myself. I'll continue to learn forever. But at the end of the day, what's most important? Is it important that you know every single thing that's in the book? Or is it more impactful that you're able to connect to somebody's heart in a way that inspires them to heal?
Mhm.
So when I think about it that way, it's like, okay, whatever we do, we're gonna pass these classes and we're gonna do very well in this field and help a lot of people change their lives.
For sure. That's deep. And I feel like I feel like we're very similar as you already said, but that's like one of the things that um really sticks with me, like being in education, working with kids, being a coach. Like I've said this on multiple episodes. Like for a kid, when a kid knows that you care, they'll run through a brick wall for you, and they can sniff it, like they can smell it out. Like when people don't care, or they just doing it for whatever, like they can smell it, and then in turn they don't give you like 100% because they had this like this doubt. But when you care about somebody and you show them that you care, and you show them the passion that you have for whatever it is, like they're gonna run through a brick wall. They're gonna go to bat 100% of the time for you. And so, in your predicament, when you're actually trying to get people to heal themselves, um, like that's super important because if you know maybe this person is not the most receptive to the medical field or just different things in general. Like we all have some pushback to try and do things sometimes. Um, if they see that you're passionate and they see that you actually care about them, they're going to be more receptive to you and trying whatever it is that you have planned for them in order to heal themselves. So um, that's super important. I feel like in a lot of aspects. So that's dope that you brought that up. So you have that pivotal moment where you like this could go one way or the other. You already making backup plans. you you get through that moment and you get on the other side of it. When was the moment where you were like, because yeah, okay, like that moment is dope, and your teacher gives you perspective. But when is the moment where you were like, oh no, I got this, like I can do this. Like you know how like when you playing football and it's your first time and like you get hit and it don't hurt and you be like, oh, that wasn't that, but like what was that moment for you like, oh, I got this.
It was it was having clinicals is what we call them, internships where we work for free. Actually, we pay to work. That's a different story. Whatever. Um, for the program that I was in, we had 6 internships, 6 clinicals.
Jesus.
Yeah, the first one that I had, it was in Tyler, Texas. So if we take it the football analogy, right? The school work is us watching the game film, us talking about the plays, us even practicing the plays with each other,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then the clinical is okay, now you in the game, the lights are bright, somebody is depending on you. They are in excruciating pain and they telling you all their problems, how they can't pay bills because they can't work because they in so much pain, and they have kids, they have a spouse, they have people dependent on them. And now this person is dependent on you so that they can do all the things that they care about and fulfill those responsibilities. So the process of prescribing movement, like that's what I do for a living. I prescribe movement. That is the medicine. I understand now, like the phrase that say they practice, like lawyers say they practice, physicians say that they practice medicine. And it didn't make sense to me. Like, why are you practicing? I need you to know what you're doing. It really is a practice. It really is an art because once again, it's not just what you read in a textbook, right?
Yeah.
You have to figure out, okay, not just what the physical movements are, but what's the conversation? How do I motivate you? How do I inspire you? How do I inspire you to see how powerful you are? That yes, you can take control of your own healing journey and heal yourself. And I'm just helping you walk along it. So the thing that was like a big spark and like, hey, yeah, like I can do this. I am doing this is having a client that I had out in Tyler, Texas, that first clinical, where she came in on that first appointment, and I'm doing my absolute best. Hey, this is what I want you to do at home every day. I didn't tell her this, but I hope this works out. When you when she came back later on that week, hey, how you feeling? Okay, the same, a little bit better. As long as it's not worse, that's good. Okay. We kind of still. And then so she was coming in twice a week for about 6 weeks. And about 3 weeks in is where she really started to notice some huge progress.
Mm.
She's telling me, hey, that numbness and tingling that I was getting down my leg, I'm not noticing that anymore. She's telling me all the incremental steps that are being made to where we are totally out of pain. So now it's just realizing, okay, if we can do that one time, I can continue to do it. And
Mhm.
that's my first clinical. I'm the worst. I'm the worst PT that I'll ever be in that moment.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better from now. So, like anything else, putting reps up. Uh, because I'm talking to you, I'm thinking all these sport analogies. Seeing the basketball go in the hoop, man. Seeing the
Yeah.
basketball go in the hoop, that builds your confidence.
Yeah.
And also, as I continue to learn, figuring out, okay, how can I improve at what I'm doing? But it is a constant practice and a constant learning for sure.
Yeah. Nice. So you make that transition, you hit that pivotal point, which is crazy because in your first week, your first exam, you get through that, um, you get all the way to clinicals, and you see that first patient is having positive progress. What is what does that do though? Like besides the like, okay, I can do this. Like, do you have this like sense of like fulfillment? Like because you have been going to school for however long at this point. Like tell me what that's like. Like,
Man, fulfillment. It feels good. It feels really, really good to help somebody get out of pain. Um, we take these bodies for granted most times and how much they do for us. So to help someone understand their body more and be able to move as freely as they would like to, it's a huge thing. But there's also like this level-headedness that is important. At least I think it's important to have too. Like, hey, I definitely played a role in this, but this is a group project between me and her and God. Like this is a group project. So it's really a humbling experience. That's really what it is. Yeah, I definitely felt good in that moment. But you know what happened? An hour after she leave, it's somebody else walking in the door who was in pain. So now we got to do it all over again. So it's never a moment really where it's just like, kick my feet up. Well, this hey, we did that. No, it's a constant process, man. I I'm at a point now, and I ain't trying to fast forward too far, but I'm at a point now where I am very confident in my skill set and what I know and what I don't know. I'm confident just by having a conversation with somebody, I can have a great idea of what's going on, likely better than the MRI is going to be able to tell us. So before the MRI even ever occurs, so we don't need those things a lot of times. But it's still like, hey, just because I have this good idea of how this thing should work, it doesn't mean it's going to work out that way. So
mhm.
it's always a humbling experience, man.
Yeah, yeah, that's dope because you think of it as like this, like damn, okay, like sense of like accomplishment, which it is, but you're saying it's like no, it's a team effort. Like it's not just me, it's you. It's um, and that's the same way I approach like coaching, especially I just told you I got hired as a head coach, and
Woo, woo. Congratulations.
appreciate it. And like one of the big things that like when I get my entire staff is like this is all of us together. Like like yeah, we do things that put kids in positions, but like it's them putting the work in. It's us putting the planning together. It's us being on the same page. It's us being supportive of not only each other but the kids. Like so, the fact that you were like, nah, it's us. It's a unit. Like that really puts things in perspective. Like
Yeah.
for sure.
It's life is all about balance, right? I'm still working on the balance of being grateful for everything that is. So like for somebody that's feeling better, being really grateful for, hey, we are making progress. And at the same time, also being so analytical on what areas we still need to improve in, you know? But I've seen that go too far to where you're so analytical that you stop being grateful and present of
Mm,
what you did accomplish. So like as the football coach, I've experienced what it's like to have a football coach to where you win a game by 5 touchdowns, but when y'all review that film, you feel like you lost by 100 because it's
yeah,
like, man, you picked out every single thing that went horribly wrong, even though the outcome is amazing.
yeah,
So I'm still working on finding that balance with you and the coaching staff, man. Let me know what you learned from finding that balance
yeah.
as you
It's
continue
it's
that process.
it's gonna be hard, but like working with like wonderful people, like in like for me, like assembling a staff that represents the same things as me, um, is a challenge. But I have a coach right now who we coach together with our track club, and she actually made these bracelets. You can't really see, but it says DHT, and it stands for Do Hard Things. And we had a group of young girls that had did really well in middle school, and then they had this relay, but they was really like set on running in this order. And I'm trying to convey to them like, hey, I think we need to change it because, um, you know, this individual might be a little stronger to start, right? It's things that like young athletes they don't really think about. But I'm like, if this girl starts, there won't be any competition after this. So now everything is more lax. Like if we hand it to her, she's a strong runner on the straightaway. This will really open the race up. By the time we get into the third leg, it's game over. And then all you got to do is the fourth leg is just finish. She like I ain't never anchored. I never did this. She not good at the start. Okay, well when y'all just did those reps though, who was getting out first? She was. Okay, well, you know what I'm saying? So like um assembling a staff that like represents the same kind of values and um like dedication to the kids as me um is definitely like something that I've been working at and like thinking about and trying to assemble. But um yeah, like definitely one of those things that I'll be looking forward to, like finding that balance of like, yeah, it's my first year being a head coach. Um, and it's gonna be a lot of things that go wrong, but it's gonna be a lot of things that go right. And like being able to balance like living in the moment and appreciating those good things that happen instead of over analyzing like all the bad things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What a I this is your thing. This is your thing. Cause I have a can I ask more questions? Is that all right?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So do hard things. I think a lot of times we overlook what doing a hard thing really means. And we can talk about this in terms of healing. We can talk about it in terms of running track. Like it's just
Yeah,
it's
let's
everything,
go.
right? Uh what is something what's a hard thing that maybe doesn't appear to be so hard, but it's difficult.
And what times? Cause and like because
So what I'm thinking about is so as a track athlete, for example, right?
okay,
We running the 4x1, and if for that athlete that's used to being first leg coming off those blocks, it could be really, really hard to just do something different.
yeah,
Right? It could be really hard to do something different.
yeah,
It could be really hard to listen to somebody, even though that you know that that person has your best interest in mind, but just simply because it's something different than what you're used to, right? So that
yeah,
could be a hard thing. Um, I think a lot of us, when we think about do hard things, it's like more, we think about maybe the mental part of it. We think of the hard thing as like the physical activity. So
Yeah,
I got to
yeah,
get out here and train.
yeah.
Sometimes doing the hard thing is, yo, I am gassed. I do not have the energy. So today I'm gonna have to like listen to what my body says and act accordingly. And that could be a hard thing sometimes, right?
Yeah,
So as a coach, what's something that you think may be a hard thing that a lot of people might not realize is a hard thing, is a challenging thing to do?
that's a tough question. That's a good one. Um, for me at least, no, you know what? It's for coaching, but it's me in life, and I feel like it's hard for most people, but I'm not afraid to do it, and it's asking for help or
Mm,
continuing to like educate yourself. So like as coaches, like we have this, just as athletes, like we had this egotistical thing. Like I'm sure when you played tight end, like you was like, can't nobody guard me. Like he can't block me, or like I'm about to put him in the dirt. Like for me, when I played receiver, it was like, oh, he definitely can't guard me. Like just throw me the ball. It's him. Like come on. And like with coaching, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, I know what I'm talking about. Like look at my resume, look at my stats, like look what I didn't accomplish, like look at what we've done. But it's like you don't know everything, and
yep.
you're not as good as you think you are most times. And for me, I know that that's hard, but I'm completely okay with asking for help. Just like I ask you for help, I ask you for guidance all the time
Yep.
on things that like I don't really have like other avenues or something like that. But I go to you because I know that you'll steer me in the right direction, and I know that it's hard because it's hard to open up to people about like sensitive subjects and topics. Just like it's hard for people to open up about asking for information on, hey, what should I do with this relay? Hey, this person's block start is like really weird. Like, hey, can you take a look at it for me? Like, and for me, it's always um I think because I do those hard things often, I always want to like put myself in an uncomfortable position because I feel like that's when everybody grows the most. I feel like those things have become easy. So it's easy for me to be like, hey, Marcus, come over real quick. Hey, can you look at her block start for me real quick? Because I got an idea, but I want to see it from your perspective. I want to hear from your perspective, like what you think. And then he'll give me the information, and then we can come together and make a determining factor on what we want to do moving forward. And so I guess to answer the question is asking for help.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on that one.
Yeah. It's difficult. It's
Yep.
difficult. Like it could be the easiest thing, but because you're so used to it, just like we talked about, because you're so used to doing it a certain way, or because your past experiences led you to think that this is always going to happen. That's not the case. Like so, yeah, that's probably my best answer.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
So we get done with PT school. What is like? What is Because like when you go to school to be a teacher, right? Like you have your clinicals, and then you have like your student teaching, and then in that last semester, you were like essentially sending out your resume and stuff like that and interviewing for a position. Are you doing the same thing for physical therapy, like, or do you just kind of like you just get done and you just like okay, well, I could start my own practice, or I could go to work for a hospital, or like what is that like?
So, the everybody's experience might have some differences, right? But from my experience, I wanted to be I wanted to be somewhere warm. So I ended up in Texas. And because Big Bro was in Houston, I navigated my way to for my last round of internships. My last two internships were in Houston. So both of those jobs, I had an offer from like, hey, you're gonna be done soon. We would love for you to come work here. So those were two opportunities that I just had right out the gate. So yeah, that's really the process. If you were somebody that can really connect with people, right? People are coming to this place because they are hurt. It's a very vulnerable thing. So just being somebody that people enjoy talking to, where they look forward to going back, a job is gonna say, "Hey, we need you to can you come here immediately because we need you here." People enjoy when you're around, so we need you around. So the job part is incredibly easy uh for me, and there's people hurt everywhere, right? There's so many
Yeah.
of us that are in pain, so I can get a job anywhere really easy. If I woke up and said I wanted to go to Alaska tomorrow and do some work, I can make it happen. I wouldn't do that. But it really is easy to find work as a PT.
And when was that like, I guess kind of going back, when was that like final determining factor? Like, okay, I could work with athletes, I could go this route, but I really enjoyed this route better. Like I enjoy helping people get back to like daily physical tasks and stuff like that. Like when was that shift? Like, or what was the point that made you go like, I want to do this instead? Like what was that change?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times people find out what I do and they say, "Oh, why don't you work with athletes? You should work with athletes. You should work with a sports team, right?" And I don't fault them for that perspective because that used to be my perspective. That's because that's what we tend to associate physical therapy with
Yeah.
is an injured athlete, right? So that was my introduction to physical therapy. But once I'm in a program and I'm having clinicals and I'm working with mothers and
Mm,
fathers, people that remind me of my mom and my cousins, and I'm working with family, right? So for me, my motivation to help this mom be able to bend down so that she can pick up her newborn child, that's way more impactful for me than it is to help such and such get back onto the field. That doesn't mean that that's an equally important thing, right?
yeah.
For that athlete, it is really important for them to play their sport. They get a lot from that. So that's not to take anything away, but I get more satisfaction out of that. So that's what I've been drawn to do more. Now I still work with athletes. It's just that athletes are a smaller percentage than the everyday person is.
Yeah. That's dope. That's that's super dope. Cause I feel like for most people that would be like, oh, this is where my heart lies now. Cause you have those intimate moments where you like, oh my God, I'm getting this mother or this father or this grandmother back to doing regular everyday things. Like, yeah, that is probably more fulfilling than you realize.
Oh
Or
yeah.
like especially that moment.
Yeah, in my mind, truthfully, everybody is an athlete. An athlete is using their physical body
Yeah.
to interact with the world. So for somebody, that might look like catching a football. For somebody else, that might be being able to pick up a bag of groceries and take it home and be able to cook, you know what I mean? Or be able to
Yeah.
vacuum. You are using your body as a tool to operate in this world. So yeah, my thing is we grew up playing sports. We grew up moving our bodies. We developed this really intimate connection with our bodies at a young age. Think about the 30-year-old who now has whatever type of pain somewhere, and they've never had a consistent practice of moving their body. So the simplest things that me and you take for granted, like, okay, hey, shrug your shoulders. Okay, so for you, shrug your shoulders. Yeah, I
Yeah.
promise you, there are people that I'm like, hey, so can you shrug your shoulders? You mean like this? No, shrug your shoulders up. Huh? Like the mind to body
Mm,
connection is so messed up. that is a difficult thing for them to do. It takes a lot more conversation and
Yeah,
hands-on to be able to do. So I get a lot of satisfaction out of getting the everyday person to realize that they are an athlete.
that's crazy. You don't think of it like that. That is true though. Yeah, I mean, everybody's using their body as a tool to do something. It's
Yep.
just whether it's recreational or your livelihood.
Yeah. I mean, recreational, right? For somebody that loves to cook, that's their recreation. For somebody that loves to get outside and walk their dog, that's their recreation.
Yeah,
So imagine what they feel like, if pain is getting away from doing the thing that they enjoy, that they really enjoy doing.
that's dope. Um, this is one thing I really want to touch on because I know we've been on here for a minute and I don't want to take up your whole afternoon, but I want you to talk about um what what exactly healing means to you. And then um like even just yesterday you were telling me more about like breathing and the importance of that. So um tell me about what healing means to you. Tell me about the importance of breathing. Maybe give our viewership some um, tips on how to breathe better or just things to be mindful of. Um, yeah, because I think it'll be very helpful to everybody that either tunes in or listens, etc.
Yeah. I love to I love to simplify things as best I can. I don't always do a great job of it. I want you to hold me to making this sound like as simple as possible, okay?
Okay.
So, healing is feeling energized. So, when you get sleep, when you get quality sleep, you feel energized.
Mm-hmm.
When you eat real food that was grown from the earth, you feel energized, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the opposite is also true. So, healing is feeling energized. When you have conversations with people that you love, you feel energized. You get that kind of jump, right? The opposite is also true, right? You feel
Mm-hmm.
drained, right? So healing is feeling energized. Breathing, well, let's go back a little bit. Uh, as a physical therapist, most people think that the people that I work with have had some type of acute injury, like they had a slip and fall or they were in a car accident, something like that, to where like all of a sudden this happens and now they're in pain. That's like the 10%. The 90% is things that just gradually happen to where like this person was just having some back tightness every so often. But then fast forward a year or two, maybe sooner. Now it's excruciating pain with numbness and tingling shooting down into your leg, right? Those things are the majority of what we see as a physical therapist. Those things that gradually happen. And when I was first starting off, I was curious of like, how can one person present with a similar injury, if you will, like similar description of the pain, and this other person that has the back pain, it is so much more intense for this person. Like, why is
Mm-hmm.
that? Why did this treatment work really well with this person, but this person, it didn't seem to help very much? Well, what I've dove into further is what really causes injury, what really causes an injury, what pain really is, and how does the nervous system play a role in that. So our nervous system, and once again I want you to hold me to making this sound as simple as possible, okay?
For sure.
Raise your right hand right now. Cool. All right, so you raising your right hand, that's a conscious decision. I asked you to do that. You did it. You told your body to do it, and that's the result. That's only 5% of what the body is doing, making those conscious like decisions that you were like so aware of that you're doing. The 95% that's happening in the background, it's referred to as our autonomic nervous system. It's like happening on autopilot, so to speak. Well, that autopilot, so things that like your sexual organs, your digestive system, your heart pumping, your lungs getting in air, those things are just happening without you having to consciously think about it. Well, that autonomic or automatic system, it has two different modes. One mode is called the sympathetic nervous system. It's the fight or flight. So when people talk about like adrenaline, when the body is more so stuck in that fight or flight, I like to refer to it as oh shit. The nervous system is saying, oh shit, it's in a constant state of stress and it perceives the outside world to be a threat. So, how your body feels when it's not safe, it doesn't perceive the world outside of itself to be safe is very different than when it does feel safe. So imagine how you feel walking in a neighborhood where you don't feel too comfortable
Mm.
versus versus if you giving a hug to your sweet grandmama, right? The nervous system takes that information and very differently. So the
Mhm.
body can either be in that mode of fight or flight, or it can be in a mode of healing itself. One mode being a fight or flight is concerned about the outside world. The other mode is called the parasympathetic nervous system, but that really doesn't matter. That other mode, the body isn't worried about what's happening outside of itself. It's able to really just be present and work on everything that's happening inside. So, a lot of the common conditions, diseases that we hear about, if we talk about diabetes and cancer, and high blood pressure, those very, very common things, it has to do with the body being in a constant state of stress. Does that make sense? Is that
Yeah.
simple? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So a huge deciding factor that tells the body if it should be in that fight or flight mode or if it should be in that calm and we're safe mode is literally how we breathe. So when we hold our breath, which is something that we do without realizing it, oftentimes where we are in a stressful mindset, we hold our breath and or we take shallow breaths. That
Mhm.
tells the body that we are not safe,
Yeah.
that we need to send more blood flow to the arms and legs so that we can get away from danger if we need to, and less blood flow to all the vital organs, right? And then of course, the opposite is true. The opposite is true. When we take a deep, full breath, we tell the body, okay, we're safe. Hey, you don't have to be on the edge about nothing that's going outside of there. We can send more blood flow to the vital organs. So a big part of what I do in terms of healing is teach people how to use their breath to calm the nervous system, to get out of that fight or flight state, and to really allow the body to heal itself. So for somebody that's dealing with anxiety, depression, um, really a multitude of conditions, literally taking as little as 3 minutes, 5 minutes every day, closing your eyes and taking some really deep, full breaths can change your life, literally.
It's crazy. Because we said this earlier in the pod, like it's something that we do every day. We don't think about it though. And ironically, in sports, um, it's starting to be more of a thing that's put on the forefront now. So people are starting to like talk about how, especially like sprinters per se, like breathing. I brought up yesterday, like belly breathing to you. Like that's why I asked, because like that's something that they keep mentioning now is like getting your body into that state of like where you say parasympathetic.
Yeah,
Um,
parasympathetic.
parasympathetic where it's more relaxed and your body's able to kind of respond better, and you're not so tight and like wound up. People are starting to more focus on that stuff because they see that there's um, physical benefits from being able to do so.
Absolutely.
So it's dope that it's getting more attention. But that's more just for like um, the athletic side and not more so like the wellness side, I guess. Um, people don't really think about breathing maybe um, can help your anxiety or maybe your stomach issues and stuff like that, or whatever else your body's going through. So um, everybody out there, I know you've been holding your breath probably for the last 50 minutes or whatever, but it's time to breathe. Take a breath. um, yeah, man. I mean, that's super important. And I, as soon as we talked yesterday, I was like, I gotta get you on the podcast, and you were like, didn't think that's how this conversation was going. But I think it's super important that people do heal, that people have this information, that people have a source that they can get this information from. So where can people find you? I don't know if you take clients like virtually at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Okay, give me all
I
your
take
information.
For sure. I take clients virtually, and so I'll give my information first. My information, you can find me on Instagram at Input Physical Therapy. You can also find me on my personal Instagram, Doc Harvey, DocHarvey. And you can reach out via email at james@inputpt.com. And possibly more important than that, it's really important that we all understand that our body is always healing itself. It's literally right now, as you're listening to this, your body is healing itself. We need to understand that that is the case, and also understand that the only thing that we actually can do is slow that process down by not believing that our body is literally always healing itself, right? A lot of what's in the norm during these times is to take medication or just participate in activities that numb the symptoms so that you don't feel the things that make you feel uncomfortable. That will never be a long-term solution to actually healing. So whether you're working with myself or you work with anybody else in this world that is a healthcare provider, the ones that are really going to help you heal are the ones that help you deal with all that uncomfortable stuff. Not to numb it, but to really help you learn how to listen to it and release that discomfort. Not numb it, but release it.
That's that's right there, man. Do hard things, man.
Yep.
Shout out to Coach Bronco. You gotta do hard things. Um, I'll make sure I have all that information in the description below. So I'll make sure I get all that stuff from you when we turn this off. And yeah, again, I love you, dog. Thank you for being such a positive role model. Thank you for being one of my heroes. A big brother that I never had. I really appreciate you. Um, and continue to keep healing, continue to keep helping people and educating people because I think it's important. Um, and yeah, dog, just thanks for being on the podcast, bro.
Ah, man. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love you always, man.
I
Proud
love
of
you
you.
always. Dope. Perfect. That was sweet, bro.
Beautiful, man.
Yo,
Be ready to be blown away.
your average coach podcast. Tune in, baby.